So I'm Guy Platten and I'm Secretary General of the International Chamber of Shipping. I've spent my entire career in maritime. I went to sea when I was 18, got a Master Mariner certificate, and then came ashore and did a variety of jobs, from salvage to looking after lighthouses, to looking after ferries, and to looking after trade associations. I think it's what bonds nations together. It lifts people out of poverty because it transports trade all around the world. It's an amazing industry. It's so diverse, from offshore to cruise, and of course to general cargo, to containers, to bulk, to tankers. And I think people don't realise just how important the ships are at bringing the goods. And particularly now during this pandemic, the ships still run, delivering the goods that we rely on: food, medical supplies, fuel. All these things are happening, and so to me, maritime really does matter. I think it's changed fundamentally the way we work. I mean, we do a lot of travelling as part of the International Chamber of Shipping. The clue is in the international. So you need to get out, you need to meet members. Since the COVID, when we've all essentially been working from home, what we found is that we can do a lot of those things remotely. So I'm hosting conferences, calls on a weekly, sometimes many times a week, with people from many different time zones. And the level of cooperation and the level of engagement has been quite incredible. I think people are much more comfortable with the idea of virtual meetings. Rather than travelling for days for one meeting lasting a few hours, they can be much more productive. So I think it has changed the way we work as a thing. As an industry, I don't think I've seen such levels of cooperation ever. A classic example would be a real issue in the industry at the moment, which is with crew changes. Because since the world so essentially locked down from March onwards, crews have not been able to get relieved, and they're now in the third month of extension. Some seafarers have been on board for over a year now. So what we've done is we came together as an industry, we developed a set of protocols, 12-step roadmap, which we presented through the IMO to governments, which will give them confidence that as an industry, we will look after the welfare, the health and safety of seafarers from before they leave home to join the ship, and vice versa, and then urge governments to classify seafarers as essential workers and allow them to get past some of these travel restrictions that are in place by many governments, because we need them to get to the ships, and we need to get them from the ships to their homes, because we need to keep the world supplied and we need to keep the ships running. One of the things we found during the pandemic is not just about crew change, it's also access to healthcare, because many countries are refusing that or delaying that. There's a population of 1.2 million seafarers on ships at any one time, which is about the size of the population of Cyprus. You are going to get other things other than COVID-19. And actually, the incidence of COVID-19 outside of the cruise sector has been very, very few and far between. We have had a case where somebody sadly passed away on board a ship, nothing to do with COVID, they passed away. It's not unheard of. It took some time for ports to actually accept the body. It was about 10 ports in before the body could be taken ashore and then repatriated or given a proper funeral. Or somebody who needed dental work. Imagine that they're living with a toothache for weeks and weeks and weeks. It's not life-threatening, but it's debilitating. It's just lots of small incidents like that, and then the difficulties in getting that access to healthcare. Well, one of the things, the objectives I set myself, we all set ourselves personal objectives, at least I do, and one of them was obviously to work on my health and fitness. So I've got a treadmill in my garage, which I've had for about 6 years now. It's a clanking old thing, but it sort of still works. So I started to get fit, and I then thought, well, how can I use that beneficially? And I decided to do a half marathon on my treadmill, and to raise money for some of the welfare charities, and in particular the Mission to Seafarers. And it's part of their global Leaders Unite to challenge to raise £60,000 in 60 days. I think this has changed the world forever. It's one of those moments in time. We've got to try and change it for the better.